Hello everybody, this is Evangelist Caleb Wampler, greeting you here near Seoul, South Korea. Recently I was in a gospel campaign in a nation in South Asia that I can't name for safety reasons. While there, a battalion of police officers and security officers, 15 to be exact, marched into the tent while I was in the middle of a gospel message. In this area, it isn't exactly legal to do what we were doing as a foreigner. And while ministering, many guys with AK-47s began to march towards the platform. In that moment, I had a decision to make. And in that moment, I decided that I was going to skip to the end of my message. I was going to cast the nets for salvation and harvest. And in that moment, over 8,000 people stood to their feet to give their lives to Jesus. One of the most amazing and supernatural miracles that I've seen to date. Now, in the moment, I was worried about my own life, as many of you might be. But what I realized later on was that there was actually a greater miracle that took place. In that moment, in the face of what could be death, all 8,000 of those people stood to their feet to give their lives and follow Jesus in the face of potential death. 8,000 miracles took place that night. In that moment, I actually was saved myself as they came onto the platform. It turned out that the chief of police from that region decided to give his life to Jesus. In the coming moments, I prayed for the Holy Spirit to sweep through the tent like a wind, and in that moment, there was an audible wind that flowed into the enclosed tent. One of the most supernatural miracles I had also seen today. In that moment, many people were filled with the baptism of the Holy Spirit, began to speak in other tongues. Others saw visions of Jesus. Others saw angels flying in the tent. People dropped to the ground as demons fled one by one, and people were filled with the Holy Spirit. When I later returned to my room that night, I had an email from one of our intercessory prayer partners. And at the exact moment where I faced what could have been certain death, I had an email from an intercessor that said, "I felt like I was supposed to pray for you at this exact moment." When I traced the time back, it was the exact moment my life was on the line and the lives of those 8,000 people were on the line. It was the power of intercession and the power of prayer that saved all of our lives in the natural, but more importantly, in the eternal.